All right, we're here with Mike. 2-day weekend here at camp. Just how happy are you to come back and give back to this community and give back being on this field where you made a name for yourself in this state?
I'm really happy. For me, I would think I say it started, with me and Isaiah, of course, coming up with the idea of doing the camp. But when it really hit me that these kids were excited and happy to see us was the other day. Isaiah and I had went to the high school, and I remember we're in the gym, and some of the kids was just looking at us like, "Yo, like that's Mikey and Isaiah."
Yeah.
And to me, it's kind of like, in my head, it's like, man, like, is my name really that much bigger than it was like 5-10 years ago? Because some of these kids I knew since they were, a lot younger, and them seeing me now is like, oh my goodness, that's Mike. And it's like, man, like, these kids really look up to us, look up to me and Isaiah, and just, and it makes me so happy seeing them come out here and acting how they acted, because it's just like, the future for these kids are so bright, and they need people like Isaiah, people like me, people like everybody that was out here supporting and helping them in their lives to help get them to where it is that they need to be.
Yeah, definitely. And what did you see out there that you liked? I mean, you were showing them some of the basics, and then you started working on the 40 times. But what did you hope they learned from like some of the stuff that they could take with them? I mean, coming from a guy like you and Isaiah.
Yeah, definitely. It started with their eagerness to learn. They were asking questions. Whenever something they were doing didn't feel right, they're coach, how do I do this? How do I do that? And just their willingness to do more. Like they'll do one drill. A lot of them were coming back up right after the rep. I want to go again. I want to go again. And it's like, at that age, that drive is what leads you to success. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's just like if you have that drive now, keep it. Keep it to the following year, keep it into high school, keep it into when you're going into college, like keep that drive, keep that want to, you know what I mean, and that's what's gonna help these kids get to where it is.
Yeah, I mean, football is obviously it's done a lot for you. I mean, can you just talk about just football, how it shapes people in life? Because some of them start at a young age. They start with youth football until they stop playing whenever at that point is. But from your standpoint, what is football? What is it about football that just gives out so many life lessons?
If there's anything I'd say about football, for somebody to learn about it, is football is just a vehicle to where it is you want to get in life. I've been saying that to these kids all weekend. Like, the reality of football ending doesn't hit for a lot of people till it happens. But I feel like it's a good thing for us to start teaching, now that football ends one day. And while you have the game of football, pour everything you have into it. Give it your all. Respect the game. There's a lot of people before you that played this game.
Yeah.
So pay your dues to football, but understand that football is gonna bring you to so many different avenues in your life. Like, football is gonna open so many different doors. Football is gonna open a door to a real estate job, a doctor job, a lawyer job, whatever job it is. Like, football is gonna put you in rooms with people that a lot of different things in life probably won't.
Yeah, definitely. Was this one of your visions when you left here and you went off to college to come back and do this camp? Was this one of the things that you were planning on that you wanted to do as far as giving back to this community?
Yeah, definitely. Understanding, like, when I was here, when me and Isaiah were here, when all of us were here, everybody that left this program, all the people that were a part of our success here at the high school, did everything they could to make sure that we are where we are today.
Yeah.
And it's like, now that I'm in this position, it's only right for me to come back and help others. And that's how my parents raised me. That's I feel like that's what God put in me to do, is give back to others. I've always been somebody that wants to make sure other people around me are good.
Yeah.
So if I could, as long as I could come back and have opportunities to help these kids build their futures, build their lives, I'll always be a mentor for them. I'll always do things like this for this community.
Yeah, and one of the biggest things is I know you guys talked about is the education part. You want these kids to further their education. What did you learn from Michigan that you're gonna be able to tell them if they're looking to go to that next step, or not even if it's a Michigan? I say it's like a Division III school or Division II school. What is something that you learned from there that you could advise them as they move forward?
Don't be scared to build connections. So I'll say, just being at Michigan, I could go to class and I could choose to be the guy that sits in the back with my headphones on, not pay attention, or I could be the guy that comes to class every day. I sit up straight in my chair. I sit in the front of the classroom. I get noticed by my peers around me. I get noticed by my professor. I'm not the football kid that uses me being a football player to do what I want. No, I'm going to act like I'm here. I want to learn. I prayed my whole life for an opportunity like this. I'm not going to come here now and waste it.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, too, is I can be in a classroom sitting to the next president, sitting to the next Bill Gates, sitting next to the...
Good luck, man.
Thank you. Sitting next to the next big whoever.
Yeah.
That's what these prestigious schools, provide for you, because people are there not for the same reason you are, but they're there chasing their dreams, chasing their goals and aspirations as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
understand where you're at, who you're around, and what opportunities can come to you just because of the place you're in.
Definitely, and I'm sure we'll be looking at this as an annual thing for next year as well.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah, and lastly, before we get out of there, what's next for you? What are you up to these days? What you got going on?
So I graduated recently.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I've just been. I could have decided to enter the draft this past season, but I decided that the NFL is always going to be there. Being at a school like Michigan, where coaches are fully invested in their players, it made me want to come back. My brotherhood with my teammates made me want to come back. So of course, I want to give to the school all I can while I'm still there, while still working on my master's. I'm in a 1-year master's program.
Okay.
So I stayed for extra. It's a 5th year because of COVID, so I got a free year of school.
Yeah.
If not, I would have had to leave already. But I want to come back. I want to win a national championship with my teammates. Like I just said, just give the school back everything I can, and put my best foot forward and help myself while still being there, knowing what my goals in the back of my head are.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know. I said that was the last one. But one more. How was it the experience of playing in back-to-back playoff games? Just that experience, that environment. Can you kind of describe it for those that aren't there physically and they're watching on TV?
So I'll say for the spot the program's been in, we haven't had a playoff appearance in for however long it was. So our first year being there in the playoffs, I feel like we won against Ohio State. We won a Big Ten championship, and for the first time we felt like we made it. So we got to the playoffs kind of unexperienced, kind of just being there, just feeling comfortable. And what happened? We lost against Georgia. The following year we had a different chip on our shoulder, and so this experience this time was more of a business trip. So we went out there, everything was dialed in, everything was locked in. But what happened was, in playoff games, the margin of error is a lot smaller because the team you're playing is just as good as you are at this point in the season. So mistakes have to be limited in games like those, and there's a lot of times in that game we shot ourselves in the foot. So it's just in my head, it's not we didn't lose those games. We had an opportunity to learn, and the position we're in right now is we learn. We're still learning daily. We're learning daily. We're creating habits that when it comes to that time. When it comes to those playoff games, we're not making mistakes that you'd be making in January and in February. Right now, we're trying to build habits that we're going to be able to fall back on when it comes to December. You know what I mean? So the daily habits you create are the ones that you're always going to fall back on when times get tough.
All right, definitely. Hey, man, appreciate it.
Thank you.
For the audience, here's a fun fact. This was probably like when you first got to Michigan, I tweeted out, Mike, me and you one day got to come have a chat about your career at Everett and go to Michigan. And look how time is. Here we are.
God works his ways, man. God works his ways.
All right, man. Thank you. Appreciate it, man.